Hey there, some reflections on the match versus Aztecs over the weekend. This is what we're going to be covering, so start with cover and balance. Cover and balance is all about how we prevent counterattacks. We have players back, they are in a position where they can not only support the build-up of play, but also prevent a quick counterattack. You will hear me say stay engaged or be an option. That simply means be available for that pass, not the next pass, but that pass in that moment. Help us build. The objective here is, as I said, prevent counterattacks. We do this by achieving patient possession. Everyone engaged, everyone able to receive the ball, we retain possession. We don't always have to move the ball forward quickly. We can be patient, we can rotate the ball around the back, move our positions, find the space, and then we go. We move the ball safely, we dribble into space, we pass to players in space, we try and find time and space at all times. You also always have to be thinking, how do I expect the counter? What do I expect to happen next? If we lose the ball here, am I in the right place? That means thinking, how do we maintain the 3-1 shape? The priority positions are the fix, then the wide players, then the pivot. If we don't have a fix, rotate so that we do have one. If we don't have a wide player but we do have a fix, rotate so you provide width on both sides of the court. If we have width on both sides of the court and we have a fix, great, you get to be the pivot. Move into the right space, create space elsewhere on the court so that we can progress the ball safely. We have one player in each space, we have one player who is available to build with at all times. We make sure that we have a player providing width on the far side of the court, and we always remember that the goalkeeper has feet. We can and should look to play through the goalkeeper if we can, if the goalkeeper hasn't touched the ball in the build-up of play. Go back to that point that I made. Always swap roles to maintain the 3-1 shape. Fix, width, pivot, in that order of priority. So this is us defending a kick-in. We do the first bit really well. So the first priority is to stop the ball coming in and then playing. Great, we've done that. From here, we've received the ball and you can see we're already set up in a 3-1 shape. What I'm expecting here is our pivot player to be thinking, great, I need to create space and to move up the court and create the space in the middle. Rocket, you can come a bit further wider here now to create the width, and Lydia is our fix. Awesome. Instead, what happens is that Holly plays the ball into Kemp. That's not necessarily a bad thing to happen. It just means that we then need to be thinking, okay, how do we build patiently until we've got ourselves with our fix, our width, and our pivot. We don't have a pivot at the moment, we have a central player. This is then compounded by the fact that Lydia, that's an awful place to stop, Lydia has decided to move forward. So now what we have is we have Kemp becoming our fix. We have two wide players, fine, but our fix is now on the ball and she doesn't have any easy passes. The easiest pass is possibly Lydia or back to the goalkeeper, but Bentley is probably going to get lost behind this defender over here, and Rocket is right behind her and can't be seen. The ball goes to Bentley, pass is secured, but then Lydia, because of her forward run, is out of position. She can't receive the ball now, she's not engaged, and Kemp's run is forward. So when Bentley receives the ball, we have no one to support the build-up of play. We could, however, play back to the goalkeeper. We decide not to. What happens is that Bentley decides to try and dribble it through. We lose the ball, and they have acres of space to play into. The result is that Bentley comes back, commits a foul. To me, that might be in the area. That should be a penalty. But just to bring it back to this moment, what I would hope to see here is if Bentley receives the ball, and it's not a bad idea actually to play it into the middle. We have the opportunity to play out here. This is, we dominate the centre. This is great. This is good stuff. But Lydia, you're too close. I would like you back over here in space. L, be available to receive the pass. If the ball goes back to you and Lydia is here, you've got an outlet, but it allows Rocket to come wide, play here. It allows Bentley to come wide, play over here, and then we can play our pivot, and a pivot can come back out the court, and then we really then have that shape. So the keeper has feet. Make sure that we've got a fix to receive the ball. Then make sure we've got the width. and then create the pivot, and then we can attack. Okay, so building as a 3. If we build as a 3, the objective is to create width. The picture that you can see is a picture that is a part of the video that I'm going to show you in a minute. This is not building as a 3, we don't have width. It is absolutely critical that we do maintain width at all times. I've said it before, I will say it again, the goalkeeper has feet. If we need to, use the goalkeeper as part of the 3. The other players then, their objective is to give us depth and space to allow us to play through. So, we don't crowd the ball. We start deep, we start wide, we have constant movement at all times to create that first pass that is safe and allows us to progress, particularly from a kick-in. This is another way of seeing exactly the same image. All that we've done is we've moved the goalkeeper across to create that back 3, and that then allows us to push our wide players just slightly higher. The opposition near side winger, this player here on our left, their right, is not going to press as aggressively if we have this player here. We can only move this player back if we're sure that we've got secure possession across the back, and that's what the goalkeeper is there to do. We can move the ball around the base, or alternatively, if this player does press high, we can just go long over the press. We've got a 2v1 up there. By having players in space and with depth and having the goalkeeper involved, it will force the opposition to drop and cover. That will create space for us. I don't think you press high against this sort of formation unless you're really losing a game and you're chasing it. It's too easy for us to manipulate the ball into this player here or this player here, play long, and we have a 2v1 on the counter. Similarly, it's the same thing on kick-ins. 3 gives us width. The goalkeeper has feet. Let's use the goalkeeper, or at least offer the goalkeeper up as part of the 3. The reason we do this again is to create depth and space. So if we have a high kick-in, the last thing we should be doing is looking to crowd this space here or move the ball into this space. What we should be looking to do instead is maybe move a player into this space, but with the objective of clearing this defender out, so we create space in the middle. Don't forget that our objective in a 3-1 build-up is to dominate the centre of the court. If we dominate in the centre, we have many more options. We can move the ball and we can progress directly towards the goal. So our runs wide move opposition players. What that allows is for someone else to occupy the centre. There's this concept called counter movements. If one player moves one way, the other player moves the other. That will move players around the court. Don't necessarily always run for yourself, run for other players to move them. And again, we've moved the goalkeeper up to be a passing option. Ball goes back, this player might press, ball goes to the goalkeeper, they're going to have tons of space to move into, progress, find the next pass. So this is an instance of us trying to play out as a 3, and you'll recognise the pictures that we create here are from the stills I just showed you. We have a kick-in, and we've just made a change. So we've got a player back here, it's going to take the kick in, Rocket's here, Bentley's here, and we've just made a sub, our pivots come on in Casey. In this moment here, Aztecs decide, no, we're actually going to press as a 3. That's fine, but Bentley's over there creating the width. We've got a keeper as our third player. We've got Rocket, who's decided to come in. Again, if we've got a third player back here, Rocket go long, create a 3v2. The space is behind this 3. We want to occupy it. So it's in the middle here, but it's also behind because they've only got one player back. If Casey goes far side, Rocket, you can come in and there's space behind you. Instead, here's what happens. Bentley decides to come over. This eliminates all width we have. And if you see how far wide they are in this moment, compared to where they end up, look how much narrower their press is in this moment. They've got us penned in. We have 3 players in this quarter of the pitch here, 4 if we include the goalkeeper, and they're just keeping us quite happily penned in there with 3. The result is that we then have to play a ball back in. Rocket starts to make her run up and around the line. This ball for me is too quick. We should wait for Rocket to finish her run, but it's a quick ball, not patient, in. We do get a lucky deflection, it goes out for a kick in. So this is how I do not want us to build as a 3. In this moment here, this is possibly okay, although ideally L, I'd like to see you the other side of the post to receive the ball a little bit more safely. Rocket, I'd like you to be behind number 2 and deliberately drawing her backwards. And Bentley, I certainly don't want you walking in, I want you over here creating the wide width. I certainly do not think that this is us playing out as a 3. There is no width, there is no depth, there is no space. This is really difficult to play out from, and it's a picture we shouldn't be seeing. We'll just run this through because the next kick in that we take is another example of us not playing out as a 3. Ball's over there, up drops Bentley to take it. Rocket, great, we're creating the width. Our fix is here, I think it's Lydia, and then Casey, you're about to run across over to the far side of the court. Instead, what happens is we're in this shape. Lydia, you've come too close. This allows this player here to completely block you from receiving the ball and playing it back to Casey. To Bentley. Casey then has moved into this space here, whereas what you can see that's happened, and Lydia, you coming over here is actually valuable in this respect, all this space here in the middle for Rocket to enter. She's created it by starting wide. She needed to have made her run on the count of 2 maybe from the umpire so that we control the centre. Also L, if you'd been up here to receive in this moment, so come up here, does number 23 go over to mark Lydia if we've got the goalkeeper up? They might do. They might go and try and put the pressure on. Alternatively, they might go, actually, you know what, we're going to low block, and that allows us to retain safe possession. As it is, we play into a tight space. That's going to be a difficult ball to receive at the best of times. Goes straight out, and then we lose possession. Against Bloomsbury, we practice this a lot in the second half, defending as a low block, and there's a really good example of us doing it in this match, which I wanted to go through. The purpose of defending in a low block is so that we control the centre. They are not allowed to play into this middle area. No crosses across, no balls into a player sat in the centre. We stop it from happening. There really should be minimal movement from these 4. It's about controlling the centre. If this player here receives the ball, the winger goes out but doesn't press too aggressively. The objective is to stop them from putting a cross in. These 2 players here, we don't press. The objective is to force them to play around the structure, not through it. If you press, you will create gaps in the middle, which will be exploited. So we just hold our shape, and we wait for them to make a mistake. Again, the objective is for them to play the ball around. If we do win the ball, and we can counter directly and there's space ahead of us, we do so. If there is space behind us, and we can retain the possession and build out, we do that. If there is no space and they're putting a high press on, send it long, kick it out into the corners or out for a goal clearance. We'll react to that position. This is just showing you the shape of the ball that I want them to play us around. This is fine. If they just move the ball there and they move it around and they're not penetrating the centre and they're not getting chances, that is okay. It might be hard work, it might be boring, it might not be us attacking in a low block situation. That is okay. By the way, and we also saw this against Bloomsbury, if they bring their keeper in, it is exactly the same principle. We control the centre, they cannot play into it. Minimal movement needed, we force them to play around us. Our pivot, your objective is to stop this player and this player connecting directly, so they can't pass the ball across the top. It's got to go through this middle player here. That slows play down, makes it harder for them to be aggressive with the ball. This player here, you're responsible for the wide players if they decide to cut in, otherwise you're just basically controlling the verticals here. This player here, your job is to stop the ball from coming across. Again, we control the centre, nothing goes into the middle. If the goalkeeper is out of their area and we recover the ball, your first thought in any situation, if the goalkeeper is out, please take a long shot. If it goes out for a goal clearance, that's fine. If we score, awesome. I want the long shots if the goalkeeper is out. That should be our first thought if we win the ball. Again, in this position with fly keeper, if there's space ahead, we counter directly. If there's space behind, retain possession. If we can't do any of those, send it long and then react. So this is us defending a low block. So for me, Rocket, don't press. Just let them play, let them make the decisions. But what we end up with here, and certainly, by the way, don't turn your back on them. What we end up here, in this moment there, is a ball coming into the centre. We shouldn't be allowing that to happen. So Lydia, your track across here, always be thinking, how do I force them down the line? How do I control the centre? How do I stop the balls into the middle? Ideally, we want this ball to go backwards to this player and then round again. That's how we control the centre. That's the low block. As it is, we do control the centre, put balls in place. I want you to pay attention to this far player over here that Kemp has got control of at the moment. The ball goes out wide. That's fine. This is where we want them to be playing. We want them to be playing wide and to be trying to rotate. Then this player has stepped out, made a false movement, come back in. Again, we're forcing them to play wide. This is fine. Kemp, you know she's there, but in this moment we have kind of lost it. Lydia, you need to be here, controlling the centre. We let this player go, because she's not going to hurt us if she's running this way. We can put the press in. And Kemp, we need to be on this player. You've recognised it, but we've not moved in place. Zoe needs to be being told to step back in. We can't allow balls into the centre. Frankly, that should be a goal. We're moving too much in this situation for me. And it starts here. We don't press. If we are going to sit in a low block, you don't press, you force them to make it. You force them to make a move, you force them to make a decision. From here, as soon as this ball goes across, we're chasing the game. We try not to turn our back on players, and we're moving too much. There's too much space in the middle here. Control the centre, maintain the block, force them wide, and then force them to play round us. Don't allow them to play inside of us. So one final thing is a few transitional moments, and thinking about the concept of maybe a Y formation. So we ended up playing 2-2, a bit of long ball. Don't forget, it's actually a 3-2 because the goalkeeper's got feet. If we use the goalkeeper, we're still building with a 3, just a little bit less time to play forward. But again, it's absolutely same concept. We start in space. We start deep. We move to occupy the centre, and then we're thinking cover and balance. We stop the transition. We press high. We move to attack into a 3-1. If the ball's over here, the lines are just showing rough ideas of where you could be moving to be into space to receive the ball, to move from space to control the centre, and then for this wide player here, just how you can run to support to create the 3-1. Once we've transitioned into that 3-1, again, it's about creating the opportunities. Width, diagonal balls, you all know what you're doing here. This is about creating our chances. If the opposition recovers and plays a long ball in for them to chase, and we get to the ball first, look to form up in a Y. If we lose possession up high, then we create the 3-1, we control the centre, we do that bit. But the Y shape forms if the ball comes back and our fix picks the ball up. And we'll look at that now. So this is what the Y formation might look like. The important thing to remember is that because their player has played the ball back, our goalkeeper can touch it again. The goalkeeper has feet. So the Y formation is the fix, the centre mid, and the 2 wider players. The principles are exactly the same. These two players the 2 forward players realise that we've got to create space, and the space has got to be in the middle where we have a 1v1 opportunity. The ball can either go to the midfield player. If that's not on, will use the goalkeeper because the goalkeeper will almost always be wide and have tons of space to progress. It creates a 3-2 in our half that allows us to build out, create the 3-1 and then go from there. Or the goalkeeper can get to the halfway line and create a 4-3 in their half and see what happens after that. This, as you build, and hopefully you can see it, if the ball goes into the midfield player here and they get round, it evolves into a 3-1 shape. This should prevent, by the way, a high press, because if this player comes in and presses, ball goes to the goalkeeper, this 3-2 shape evolving into a 4-3 in their half is so easy to play through that eventually they'll just stop high pressing it. But we have to have a goalkeeper who is willing to come out wide and play with the ball and play from there. We will be looking to do elements of this in the next training session that we run. So hopefully that's all clear, and some ideas, thoughts, and really looking forward to seeing you guys at training on Friday.